Hi friends. Welcome to Kerala EduStar. If you are watching the channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Then share it with your friends and relatives. If you like the video, please like it. Today our video is about the second unit of the 9th class English subject, Bond of Love. The first part, read and reflect. Maternity. The Malayalam translation of this lesson in textual questions and answers, then textual activities are included. Let's go to the video. Unit 2. Bonds of Love. 1. What do you see in the picture? The earth is protected by a chain made by human hands and two doves fly above the earth. 2. How are the people seen? In this picture we see people saving the world in a chain made by hand. 3. What do the doves signify? White doves symbolize peace. 4. What idea does the picture convey? Join hands with each other and protect the world with love. Peace be upon you. You can even conquer the world with love. Read the haiku given below and discuss its significance. Lighting one candle with another candle, spring evening. Translated by Robert Hass. Haiku, an unrhymed verse form in 3 lines. It is of Japanese origin. Read and reflect. Helping each other and empathizing with the sufferings of our fellow beings will help us create a world of peace and love. But do we always nurture such values in our life? About the author. Lilika Nikos 1903-1989 was a Greek novelist, journalist and short story writer. She was one of the first women writers of modern Greek prose and for many years the only woman in Greek journalism. She is best remembered for her story collection titled Children's Inferno, Stories of the Great Famine in Greece. One of her best known novels is Lost Soul. Maternity. It was more than a month since they were at Marseille. The camp of Armenian refugees on the outskirts of the town already looked like a small village. They had settled down in any way they could. The richest under tents, the others in the ruined sheds. But the majority of the refugees, having found nothing better, were sheltered under carpets held up at the 4 corners by sticks. They thought themselves lucky if they could find a sheet to hang up at the sides and wall them from peering eyes. Then they felt almost at home. The men found work no matter what, so that in any case they were not racked with hunger and their children had something to eat. Of all of them, Mikali alone could do nothing. He ate the stale bread which his neighbors cared to offer, and it weighed on him. For he was a big lad of 14, healthy and robust. But how could he think of looking for work when he literally bore on his back the burden of a newborn babe? Since his birth, which had caused his mother's death, he had wailed, proclaiming his famished state from morn till night. Who would have accepted Mikali's services when his own compatriots had chased him from their quarters because they were unable to bear the uninterrupted howls which kept them awake at night? Mikali himself was dazed by these cries. His head was empty and he wandered about like a lost soul, dying from lack of sleep and weariness, always dragging about with him the deafening burden that had been born for his misfortune and its own, and that had so badly chosen the moment to appear on this earth. Everybody listened to it with irritation. They had so many troubles of their own and they all pitifully wished it would die. But that did not happen, for the newborn child sought desperately to live and cry louder his famished state. The distracted women stuffed their ears and Mikali wandered about like a drunken man. He hadn't a penny in his pocket to buy the infant milk, and not one woman in the camp was in a position to give it the breast. Enough to drive one mad. One day, unable to bear it further, Mikali went to the other side of the place where the Anatolians were. They also had fled from the Turkish massacres in Asia Minor. Mikali had been told that there was a nursing mother there who might take pity on his baby. So there he went, full of hope. Their camp was like his, the same misery. Old women were crouched on pallets on the ground. Barefooted children played about in pools of dirty water. As he approached, several old women rose to ask what he wanted. But he walked on and stopped only at the opening of a tent. From the interior of the tent came the sound of a wailing infant. Have pity on this poor orphan and give him a little milk. I am a poor Armenian, he said in Greek. At his appeal, a lovely, dark woman appeared. She held in her arms an infant blissfully sucking the maternal breast, its eyes half closed. Let's see the kid. Is it a boy or a girl? Mikali's heart trembled with joy. Several neighbors had come closer to see and they helped him to take from his shoulders the sack where the baby brother was held. With curiosity they leaned over. He drew back the cover. The women gave vent to various cries of horror. The child had no longer anything human about it. The head had become enormous and the body, of an incredible thinness, was all shriveled up. As until then it had sucked only its thumb. It was all swollen. It was dreadful to see. Mikali himself drew back in fright. All of them together chased him away, threatening. His eyes filled with tears. He went off, bearing the little child still wailing in its hunger. There was nothing to be done. The child was condemned to die of hunger. Mikali felt himself immensely alone and lost. A chill ran up his spine at the thought that he was carrying such an unlucky child. He slumped down in the shadow of a shed. It was still very warm. The country spread out before him in arid wasteland, covered with refuse. Moon rang out somewhere. The sound reminded him that he had eaten nothing since the day before. He would have to go sneaking about the streets, round cafe terraces, filching some half-eaten roll left on a plate, or else rake about in the garbage for what a dog would not have eaten. Suddenly, life seemed to him so full of horrors that he covered his face with his hands and began to sob desperately. When he raised his head, a man stood before him, gazing down upon him. Mikali recognized the Chinaman who often came to the camp to sell paper knickknacks and charms which no one ever bought from him anyway. Often they mocked him because of his color and his squint eyes. Mikali saw that he was looking gently down at him and moving his lips as though to speak. Finally the Chinaman said, "You mustn't cry, boy. ... Quote. Then, timidly, come with me." Mikali's only answer was to shake his head negatively. He longed to flee. He had heard so many horrors about the cruelty of the Orientals. Yet the man remained there and did not budge. So, being in great distress, Mikali followed him. What more awful thing could happen to him? As they walked along he stumbled weakly and almost fell with the child. The Chinaman came to him and taking the baby in his arms, tenderly pressed it to him. They crossed several empty lots and then the man took a little lane that led them to a sort of wooden cabin surrounded by a very small garden. He stopped before the door and clapped his hands twice. A few light steps inside and a tiny person came to open the door. Seeing the men, her face reddened and then a happy smile lit it up. She made a brief courtesy to them. As Mikali remained there, hesitatingly rooted to the threshold, the Chinaman said to him, "Come in. Then, do not be afraid. This is my wife." Mikali went into the room. Rather large it seemed, separated in the middle by a colored paper screen. It was all so clean and neat, though very poor looking. In the corner he noticed a wicker cradle. "That is my baby," said the young woman, cocking her head graciously to one side and smiling at him. "He is very tiny and very beautiful. Come and see." Mikali went up closer and silently admired it. A chubby baby, but lately out of the darkness of the maternal body, slept peacefully, covered with a gold brocade cloth, like a little king. Then the husband called his wife over. He told her to sit on a straw mat. Without a word, he sat down on her lap, the little famished one, bowing deeply before her. The woman leaned over with astonishment and drew back the covering in which the child was wrapped. It appeared to her in all its skeletonic horror. She gave a cry of immense pity, then pressed the babe to her heart, giving it the breast. Then, with a gesture of modesty, she brought forward a flap of her robe over the milk-swollen breast and the poor, gluttonous infant suckling there. 1. How did the Armenian refugees settle? Answer. They settled down in any way they could. The richest under tents and the others in the ruined sheds. The majority of the refugees were sheltered under carpets held up the four corners by sticks. 2. Describe the life of the refugees in the camp. Answer. The men somehow found work, so their children had something to eat. They were not racked with hunger. 3. Why couldn't Mikhail earn even a penny? Answer. Mikhail couldn't look for work because he bore on his back the burden of a new-born baby. 4. Why was he chased away by his fellow Armenians? Answer. He was chased away because the people were unable to bear the uninterrupted howls of the little baby which kept them awake at night. 5. Mikhail wandered like a lost soul. Comment on the comparison. Answer. Mikhail is compared to a lost soul because he wandered about carrying on his back the deafening burden of a new-born baby. 6. Why did the refugees wish that the child would die? Answer. Everybody listened to the child's howl with irritation. They had so many troubles of their own, so they wished it would die. 7. Notice how the women behaved. What do you think about their attitude? Answer. It is very saddening and shameful that they should behave like this. It was a very bad behavior. 8. What made Mikhail go to the camp of the Anatolians? Answer. Mikhail could no longer bear the behavior of his fellow refugees, so he decided to go to the Anatolian camp. 9. Mikhail did not stop when the old women rose to ask him what he wanted because A. He was very tired. B. He heard the wailing of the infant. C. He wanted to see the nursing mother. D. He didn't like the women. Answer. He wanted to see the nursing mother. 10. Why was Mikhail happy? Answer. A lovely dark woman appeared with an infant asking if the kid was girl or boy. He thought that he would get some help from the woman and Mikhail was happy. 11. Why did the women give vent to cries of horror? Answer. The baby's head had become enormous and the body thin, as it had sucked only its thumb. It was swollen, so the women gave vent to cries of horror. 12. Why did he feel immensely alone and lost? Answer. It was very difficult for Mikhail to get food and shelter. He was turned away mercilessly wherever he went, so he felt immensely alone and lost. 13. Why did he sob? Answer. Life seemed to him so full of horrors, so he sobbed desperately. 14. In what way is the Chinaman different from the refugees? Answer. Unlike the other refugees, the Chinaman was kind, helped Mikhail in his distress. 15. Describe how the Chinaman's wife behaved when she saw Mikhail with her husband. Answer. When the Chinaman's wife saw her husband with Mikhail, her face reddened and with a smile and utmost courtesy she welcomed him. 16. What did the Chinaman's wife do when she saw the famished infant? Answer. She gave a cry of pity and then pressed the baby to her heart, giving it the breast. Let's revisit and reflect. 1. How did the child become a problem to Mikhail and the others in the refugee camp? What impression do you get about Mikhail from the way he faced the problem? Answer. Mikhail had to carry the newborn baby on his back always. He could not go to work. The pathetic cries at times kept the people awake at night. Without proper food, sleep and shelter, Mikhail wandered about like a lost soul. In spite of all the miseries, he tried his best to save the infant. His patience, courage, love, and sense of responsibility are heroic in nature. We must face any situation in our life with firm faith and courage. 2. Describe Mikhail's experiences in the Armenian camp and the Anatolian camp. What difference do you notice? Answer. Mikhail did not get any help from the refugees of the American camp. They often chased him away from their quarters. He got the same treatment from the Anatolians. When they saw the baby, they chased him away, threatening him. 3. How does the story reveal the nobility of maternity? Describe. Answer. In the American camp, No woman helped Mikali and the baby on his back. The piteous cries of the baby never moved the women. Not even single women came forward to give the baby the breast. They pitifully wished it would die. The women in the Anatolian camp were no exception. They chased him away threatening. The Chinaman's wife saw the baby in all its skeleton horror. She gave a cry of immense pity, then pressed the baby to her heart, giving it the breast. The motherly love in her gave the baby a new life, thereby revealing the nobility of maternity. 4. Which character in the story was the most empathetic to the baby? Justify? Answer: yes. I like the Chinaman. Unlike the other refugees, the Chinaman was kind and helped Mikali in his distress. He persuaded Mikali to follow him. He even took the baby in his arms, tenderly pressed it to him. When everyone chased Mikali and the child away, the Chinaman welcomed them to his home. His young wife graciously accepted the child in her arms. This was the blissful moment of humaneness. Activity 1. What is your impression about the Chinaman and his wife? How are they different from the other characters in the story? Write a paragraph. The following hints may help you. The Chinaman was very kind to Mikali. He tried to help him in his distress. The other refugees in the camp treated Mikali as a nuisance. But when the Chinaman was the baby, he tenderly took it and pressed it to his body. When his wife saw the baby, her maternal feelings were revealed. With a smile and courtesy, she welcomed them and gave her breast to the pathetic baby. The Chinaman and his wife remain as symbols of humanity. The other women in the camps were selfish. The Chinaman's wife is portrayed as the ideal mother. Activity 2. The majority of the refugees, having found nothing better, were sheltered under carpets held up at the four corners by sticks. Mikali ate the stale bread which his neighbors cared to offer, and it weighed on him. You have understood the sufferings of the people in the refugee camp. If a disaster, flood, cyclone, earthquake, etc. strikes your neighboring village, what action plan will you prepare for immediate relief? A. Study the pie chart below, showing the effect of natural calamities in the world over the past few years. Answer the following questions on the basis of your reading of the chart. 1. Which appears to be the most disastrous of all the calamities? Flood, 29%. 2. Which seems to be the least dangerous? Drought, 4%. Discuss. What are the adverse effects of calamities? List them. Diseases, famine, poverty, stress. 2. Suggest a few precautionary measures to reduce the adverse effects of such calamities. Construct buildings which can withstand calamities. Sufficient warnings should be given well in advance. Awareness programs for overcoming such calamities, etc. A. In certain cases, people are given some precautionary measures. A few warnings related to earthquake are given in the boxes. Move to an area away from trees, power lines, buildings and walls. Remain in position until the shake has stopped. Drop to knees and get into a fetal position. Close your eyes and cross your arms over the back of your neck for protection. Prepare a few warnings to be given to avoid the spread of epidemics in the camp. Maintain good hygiene. People with illnesses should not interact with others. Disinfect the main area in your place. Wear gloves and masks. Avoid sharing personal things with the other people in the camp. B. Now, we can think about forming a disaster management committee. Form different groups like medical assistance group, food catering group, publicity wing, etc. Sit in groups and discuss what you can do in case of emergencies. Present your ideas in the classroom activity. C. Suppose you are the convener of the publicity committee. What can you do to ensure community support? Prepare posters, awareness programs, exhibition, medical camps, public announcement, short films, advertisement. D. Now, design posters to make the community aware of the dangers of epidemics. Language activities. Activity 1. Read the following sentences from the story, Maternity. Have pity on this poor orphan and give him a little milk, he said in Greek. Come with me, said the Chinaman. Come in, then. Do not be afraid, said the Chinaman. What do you notice about the sentences given within quotes? Write your findings here. They begin with verbs. Short sentences. It is related with advice, warning, request, suggestion. Oh, now look at the picture. Pick out sentences from the picture to match the functions in column A and note them down in column B. C. Look at the posters given below and study their features. Features of posters. Catchy captions. The message is clear and bold. Attractive. The idea is clear and concise. Short phrases. Self-explanatory. Pictures and illustrations. Activity 2. A. Read the following sentences. He told her to sit on a straw mat. What do you think were the actual words of the Chinaman? Complete the following. The Chinaman said, what changes do you notice when someone's actual words are reported? Discuss and say whether the following statements are true or false. When a sentence is reported. B. Look at the picture and report what the teacher tells the students. 1. Benu. Open your textbook and turn to page number 18. 2. Suman. Stand up straight. 3. Give me the details. Aisha. 4. Don't shout. 5. Speak aloud. Mary. Now, try to report the following. I hope you understand the chapter. Thanks for watching. Thank you.